of Gary Westside High School in Gary, Indiana for this year's Gary Regional Basketball Tournament. Good evening, everyone. I'm Chris Epp. Along with me tonight, as usual, for the play-by-play, Rick Harrigan. And Rick, after watching the games earlier, the semifinals this afternoon, it looks as if it's going to be a basketball game, height against speed.
Well, yeah, Wallce is a really big team, especially with Tellis Frank. He goes 6'9", and he's really playing a forward. They also have Brian Asbury. He's 6'6", 6'7", but he's really huge. He's a bulky type player. He'll play center. Of course, everybody knows about the All-American Johnny Fort, a 6'6" swingman. They're really big. Be totally honest, I think I was not real impressed with East Chicago Roosevelt this morning. It took a lot of poor shots, general poor selection. Battle underneath looked pretty strong, and Pollard in the overtime was the whole team. But if I had to make a pick, which I'm so famous for being wrong last week, I'd say Wallce will blow them out.
So Rick's going to pick Wallce blowing East Chicago Roosevelt right out of the gym. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to call it a blowout, but I do have to go with Gary Wallce tonight in tonight's basketball game. But even though it should be a great basketball game, East Chicago Roosevelt, they've been here before. They were here, as you remember, against Gary Roosevelt last year in the finals. They'll do it again this year. And speaking of the semifinal games from earlier this afternoon, we'll take a look at those plus the starting lineups right after this message. Chris Epp along with Rick Harrigan back at the Gary Westside Fieldhouse in Gary, Indiana tonight. Cable 3 Sports presenting the Gary Regional Championship game. The number 6 team in the state of Indiana, Gary Lou Wallce, against the number 15 team in the state, East Chicago Roosevelt. Tonight, a fantastic game is expected. A near capacity crowd here, as I said earlier, at Gary Westside. But as we were talking about, if tonight's game is anything like what we had earlier this afternoon, Rick, you really couldn't ask for anything more.
Two fantastic ball games. The first one was Maryville and Wallce, and ended up a 2-point win for Wallce. It was a tremendous game. We got some highlights of that one. Wallce just generally, it was a back and forth ball game, really close game. But in the end, it was Wallce's quickness that caught up with Maryville. There's Renee Glover with the steal from Machete pass. He goes the length for a 2-point, cut the Pirate lead to 2. Machete on a 2-on-1 break here. These are highlights from the game. There's Lehman following it in. But Wallace's size inside also intimidated Maryville. Carabine rejected by 6'6" Asbury, the big center. All-American Johnny Fort from Wallce hits his free jumper from the lane, rather. That pulls the Hornets within 1. Fort had 15 this morning. With score tied at 50, Maryville is sitting on the clock. 10 seconds left. Carabine takes the shot. 17-footer misses Wallce on the rebound. With 5 seconds remaining, they call a timeout. Casey hurried that shot a little bit. He had a lot of time left on the clock. Here's the last 5 seconds. Frank inbound. Troy Douglas going to get it. About a 25-footer. Swishes it at the buzzer. And Wallce beat Maryville 52-50 in that first game. Then the afternoon contest, it was Roosevelt against Hammond. Another seesaw battle. Surprisingly tough game by Hammond. That was Carl Richardson missed. Reggie Kirk on the follow-up tied it at 61. Chevis Sneed, short jumper there, made it 63 after regulation and overtime, but it was all Art Pollard there, number 25. He scored all 9 Roosevelt points in the overtime. They led 72-69 on that free throw, or rather that jumper. With time running out in the overtime, Flowers hits this one unmolested. The Raiders beat them 72-71.
Let's hope this evening's games are just like this afternoon, right down to the end. Very excellent ball games all around. Tonight at Gary Westside, we've got our national anthem. Let's pause for that. Wade Brooks, a senior, 6 foot even, 160 pounds. Starting at the other guard for the Rough Riders, number 14, Hiron Edwards. He is also a senior. He's also 6 feet, and he is also 160 pounds. At one forward, number 20, Rich Randolph, also a senior, 6 foot 2 inches, 196 pounds. At the other forward, number 25, Art Pollard, the man that came through for the Rough Riders earlier today. He's only a junior. And starting at center, number 22, the man with the goggles, Jerome Battle. He will start at center. He's only a junior, 6'4", and the head coach of the Rough Riders, John Todd, his second year at East Chicago Roosevelt. This year, a 20-3 record, including the win this afternoon. For the Gary Lou Wallce Hornets, starting at guard, number 12, Dwayne Coops. He's only a junior, 6'1". Starting at the other guard, number 14, Renee Glover. He's only a junior. He's 5'10", 150 pounds. Starting at one forward, Tallis Frank, the big man. He's a senior, 6'9", 205 pounds. He takes up a lot of space. He gets a lot of rebounds. Starting at the other forward, the All-American, number 34, Johnny Fort. He's a senior headed for the University of Iowa. And starting at center, Brian Asbury, number 44. He's a senior, 6'6", 225 pounds. Head coach of the Lew Wallace Hornets, Earl Smith. His season record so far this year, 19-3.
And Brian Asbury, you mentioned Fort's on his way to Iowa. Asbury's already committed to Western Kentucky. And I talked to Gene Sullivan from University of Loyola Ramblers earlier, and he's after Frank pretty heavy. He's at the game tonight. I'm looking for other coaches too. I'm sure there's others in the audience.
Now, of course, both teams have met one time before during the regular season this year, and that game went to Gary Lew Wallace as they beat East Chicago Roosevelt back in about mid-season. Final score of that game, 73-65. Gary Lew Wallace currently on a 12-game win streak. East Chicago Roosevelt with an 8-game win streak.
During the starting lineups, another thing he kept stressing was only a junior. That's a big thing about Roosevelt. They're two big stars, Pollard and Battle, both juniors. So, you know, they're not through this year. Although I don't want to write them out. I already said a blowout, but I figured Roosevelt would blow out Hammond this morning too.
And as they announce the starting lineups here at Gary Westside, we're going to take a break. This is US Cable Channel 3 with the Gary Regional Basketball Tournament, brought to you by The Bargain Finder. As I was saying, brought to you by The Bargain Finder, also brought to you by Free Movers and North American Van Lines in Highland and Captain D's. We'll be back with the opening tip-off right after this. Chris Epp along with Rick Harrigan back at Gary Westside High School in Gary, Indiana. Tonight's officials, Wayne Van Sickle and Troy Ingram. They will be doing the officiating tonight. I don't know if that's a very enviable position right now. A lot rides on this basketball game. The winner goes to West Lafayette for the Lafayette Semi-State next weekend. The loser, well, it's an old cliche, but their season's over with one loss. We're all set for basketball. Jerome Battle jumping center against Brian Asbury. Asbury gets the tip to Frank. He's going to go up with the first jumper right off the back edge of the rim and out. Rebound is pulled down by number 25, Pollard.
It's going to be interesting to see how Roosevelt, what they do about the Wallace height advantage.
Pollard tried to go up the baseline, and as he did, he was fouled by number 20.
Well, Douglas hit that winning shot. He's getting a start. We had a little change in the lineups almost right at the last minute, but he hit the winning shot this morning, so he earned himself a start.
And Troy Douglas is, at one time during the year, was a regular starter. They move it inside quickly to Battle. He goes up with it, no good. Rebound is pulled down by number 20, Randolph, or make that number 20, Douglas. And from way outside the twilight zone, number 14, Renee Glover.
Renee took a lot of those shots today and had a good game. He's a good shooter from the outside.
And it's 2-0, Gary Lew Wallace. Back come the East Chicago Roosevelt. The jumper's no good. Rebound finally picked up. Douglas gonna go all the way, lays it in, it's good. We've got a foul, it's gonna go. It is going to be an offensive foul, it looks.
Yeah, that was on Douglas for charging. It's a second to take second, but the bucket is good.
So Roosevelt still trails now by 4 points as the bucket is good. It's 4-0. Gary Lew Wallace with about a minute ticked off the clock already. Inside quickly, number 20, the jumper is good by Richard Randolph. Randolph hit the short turnaround jumper quickly down court. Lou Wallce to Frank, gets it to Fort. Fort's back from behind. The foul goes against Richard Randolph. Non-shooting foul. Wallce brings the ball in play. Ford at the top of the key, gets it back over to Glover. Ford again, there he goes. He wants to drive, but he gets tangled up trying to drive up the lane, and he gets the foul.
Play Brooks that. That's one way to, or it wasn't Brooks, I'm sorry, Hiram Edwards.
6:35 left to go, first quarter of play. Gary Lou Wallce leads 4-2. They inbounds it quickly, getting it all the way, wrapping it up and in. Nice layup up the right side of the lane. Number 14, Glover. Renee Glover made the nice float move up the lane and laid it in. It's 6-2, Gary Lou Wallce.
Glover had 13 points in the Sporting's game. Jumped out with 4 already.
Battle inside, he gets hacked. It looks like it'll go against Frank. Watch it underneath once again.
Battle got around Asbury there, and Frank had help out, and he caught him from behind, so Battle will be at the line for 2.
No doubt about it, a lot of body contact underneath. East Chicago, Roosevelt trying to get a little added extra position underneath because they need it. Height-wise, as we said, they just don't stack up with Lou Wallce. And Battle misses the first and also misses the second. Frank goes high for the rebound. Back comes Lou Wallce up court. Coops with the ball at the top. Finally passes it off to Fort. What a move inside, the slam dunk by number 44, Brian Asbury.
Oh, beautiful dish off, and of course Asbury slammed it home. Not much you can say, but it was pretty.
The jumper from the baseline by number 25, Pollard, no good. Quickly down court. Fort again with the beautiful pass, and we've got a foul underneath.
Little walking. I think he called traveling on Glover. After Ford shuffled him the ball, Glover took little steps.
And a timeout is called. Watch it underneath once again.
There's
nice. What I was going to say is Johnny Fort, obviously he's known as one of the top scorers for Gary Lou Wallce, but he also leads the team in assists. He likes to dish that ball off. He's not a selfish ball player. He will dish it off if he sees it's there, and that's exactly what happened there with Asbury.
Well, he hot dogged it a little bit there. Nice little pass, though. Good little shuffle. And if he wasn't a selfish player, Lute Olson never would have went after him for Iowa.
8-2 is the score, 5 minutes, 38 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Gary Lou Wallce has jumped out to a big lead early on. Back come the Rough Riders. Edwards is into the game. Hiram Edwards, he's going to take the jumper from the free throw, in and out. Rebound is picked up by Glover, almost stolen away. Glover still has control. He's being wrapped up, dishes it off to Frank. Back outside, Glover, nice behind the back pass, off the glass, no good by Coops. Rebound, finally picked up, dishes it off to Fort, lays it in and good. And it's 10-2, Gary Lou Wallce. Battle inside. Battle fakes left, spins right, lays it in off the glass, it's 10-4. Johnny Fort, they move it around. Frank didn't take the outside jumper, no good. Rebound by Battle. Edwards back up court for Roosevelt. Edwards gets it back. Brooks has got it now, left side. Gonna go right up the baseline, dishes it back outside. Off the glass and good by Randolph. Richard Randolph cuts the lead to 4, it's 10-6. Back on the other end, Johnny Fort.
They did it all by himself. He shows why he's an All-American.
It's 12-6. Gary Lou Wallce has the lead, and they get the rebound as ECR can't convert behind the back pass on the other side. Fort dribbles it on the baseline. It's going to come back to Chicago Roosevelt.
Well, he also dribbled it on his toe and went out of bounds.
Edwards looked to be a little shaken up on the play, so he sits down, and Cheva Sneed comes in for Roosevelt, number 10.
We got some points going up on the board early this night.
We haven't had one like this, I don't think, all year. It's tough to keep up with this. Pollard is way short from outside, all the way down court. Ball's going to go out of bounds.
Good call, good call.
Last touch by Fort. The ball will go back to ECR.
Well, Coops touched it, but then it went off Fort's fingers. The referee was right there.
ECR right back down court. The jumper's good. Randolph.
He has 6 of the 8 points. You give him that shot wide open, a little 10-footer, he'll hit it every time.
The jumper on the other end. In and out, no good by Edwards. The rebound is pulled down, and that was Glover. Rebound pulled down by ECR. Here they come back down court. Dish off pass to Pollard underneath. Boy, you don't get a chance to catch your breath.
That's Pollard's first bucket.
And it's 12-10. Quickly on the other side, Frank. We get the offensive foul.
That's 2 on Tellis.
Watch it. I don't think Tellis Frank. There he goes. He went right in. Now the whole thing is, did number 12, Clay Brooks, have position on Frank? Apparently the referee thought so. And Roosevelt gets the ball back. They could tie the game here with a bucket. They trail 12-10. 3 minutes left to go first quarter. Dish off past the battle underneath. Just like picking cherries, we've got a tie ball game at 12. And it's stolen away, all the way down court, comes to Brooks, all the way, lays it in and good. Clay Brooks made the steal, took it in on his own, and Roosevelt has a 14-12 lead, and we get a foul against number 25, Art Pollard.
25.
So Pollard picks up his first foul. Boy, I tell you, I feel sorry for the stats people tonight.
Got Dwayne Coops checking in for Wallce. Also Calvin Douglas.
The jumper by Fort, in and out. Rebound being bounced around and finally pulled down by number 10, Sneed, for Roosevelt. Back come the Rough Riders. The jumper by Brooks, no good. Rebound by Pollard, turn around. Lays it in off the glass, it's no good. Sneed back outside. And we're gonna get a foul underneath. It'll go against number 45, Calvin Douglas. Douglas just recently checked into the game. He picks up his first foul.
Oh, Wallce had a big lead and they started playing a little street ball and got out of it. While Roosevelt took advantage of Wallace's mistakes.
You can't help but feel as if this game would be a little bit different if they would have been playing Maryville, wouldn't you think?
Well, they probably have this many points at halftime.
Taking a look at that foul underneath once again. Look at the quick pass, and as you can see, Pollard got tripped up by Douglas right underneath. Gary Lou Wallce, of course, known as the Hornets, but the emblem they have in the back of their warm-up jerseys looks more like the Killer Bees. But so far, it's been East Chicago Roosevelt. The Rough Riders have come back after an early 8-point deficit, have now taken the lead 14-12.
Maryville not playing, or Maryville. Lou Wallce not playing very good defense either. When they get down here, they they get beaten and they either commit the foul or give up the easy bucket.
I guess this is what they call wide open basketball. Jerome Battle at the line for the Rough Riders, averaging a little over 12 points per game. The first free throw is no good. Rebound finally dragged in by Coops, and he'll bring it up court for the Hornets. Glover gets it inside to number 44, Asbury, and Asbury's going to get the offensive foul.
Gonna block, gonna shoot.
So Asbury picks up his first foul.
Roosevelt's in the bonus the rest of the way for the half. Here's Battle, he's missed 3 free throws. Here's a look at it underneath. Here's the pass, and Asbury says, you know, what did I do? You gotta give me room to come down. And I think he took command on that rebound too.
I don't know if Jerome Battle quite had his defensive position long enough underneath, as the replay showed. From outside, number 45, Calvin Douglas, ties this ball game at 14. Back come the Rough Riders. Randolph at the top of the key. Gets it over to Battle. Back to Randolph. The little man, Sneed.
Spread it out a little bit, trying to get some of the Wallce big guys out from underneath. Asbury says, I'm going to stay here in the lane. It's mine.
I don't know too many people that argue with him either. A little bit more pressure put on by Lou Wallce, and underneath, it's first down and 10 as Asbury came up with it to Foot. Over on the other side, back to Douglas, and Douglas goes up and gets the foul.
That was Travis Sneed. It's his first in Team 4. Glover was in the act, so he'll be shooting a couple. Or Douglas, I mean.
So number 45, Calvin Douglas, is at the line for Lou Wallce. Could give them the lead with a bucket. He makes good on the first. He'll now get the bonus. The second one won't drop. As Randolph went high for the rebound, he gets it back at the top of the key to Brooks. Back to Randolph, and Randolph, as we said before, well, we're going to take it easy for a while.
I mentioned Wallce, where we were scoring so many points and everything. They had 14 after 4 minutes. Now we've gone another 3.5 minutes and they only got 2 points.
And it looks like the Rough Riders will go for the last shot. 20 seconds left to go, first quarter.
3 points. Let me correct myself.
10 seconds left. Roosevelt will try to move it in now. Having trouble at the top of the key is Brooks. He dishes it off to Randolph. Randolph goes right up the lane, lays it in, and that's going to end the first quarter. And after 1 quarter of play at the Gary Basketball Regional Championship, it's East Chicago Roosevelt 16, Gary Lou Wallce 15. We'll be back right after this. It was a wild first quarter of play, but East Chicago Roosevelt has grabbed a 16-15 lead. The opening tip once again controlled by Wallce. First quarter turnovers, Lew Wallce had 3, Roosevelt 1. Rebounds, Lew Wallce 11, Roosevelt 7. And Lew Wallce had 7 fouls against Roosevelt's 4.
Shooting's pretty even.
Ford throws up an air ball, although it looked like it was partially deflected.
First quarter, Wallce shot 58%. Roosevelt 53%.
Brooks can't find the range. Back comes Lew Wallce the other way. Douglas having trouble. Finally dishes it off to Glover. Glover tried to go baseline. It was cut off by Edwards. And the ball finally stolen away by Brooks. All the way down court. Pollard. No good. Rebound by Frank. Fast break. Fort dishes it off to Glover. And Glover lays it in. It's 17-16. Back on the other end. Pollard from the twilight zone. No good. Ball knocked out of bounds. It's going to go back to Wallce.
Pollard having a tough time. He's their star, but he's only 1 out of 5 from the field so far. Randolph leads them with 8. Leads all scorers.
Back comes the Hornets. Johnny Fort. Douglas going to go up the lane, take the jumper, just got it in. Calvin Douglas just got that one to drop. It's a 3-point lead for Lew Wallce. The jumper by Randolph is good. And it's 19-18. We're going to get a foul underneath. Looks like it'll go against number 23, Tony Harris.
Being a little too physical there, which you're trying to front Johnny Ford. He's grabbing him.
So Johnny Fort, the All-American. In fact, he was named to Parade Magazine's 3rd team, I believe, which is a national team all across the country.
He's only
Quite
got
an
4
honor
points
for him.
tonight, but as we mentioned earlier, he's made some beautiful passes, setting up probably 3 or 4 other buckets.
You can see averaging a little over 20 points a game. And he adds to the Lew Wallce lead there. It's 20-18. The second's good by Fort. It's 21-18, Lew Wallce. Full court pressure being put on by the Hornets as Edwards back down court, almost got it stolen away, and it's going to be an offensive foul as Edwards ran into Asbury.
That's 2 on Edwards, and Brian will go to the line.
So Brian Asbury will go to the line.
This kid is so big. Here's a replay of it. I don't know how often little Hiram Edwards is going to knock over Asbury actually, but Asbury took the foul, but he missed the first end of the 1-on-1.
Tell you one thing, Richard Randolph can get up. Brooks can't find the range. Battle underneath for the loose ball. Jump. Randolph and Asbury will jump it right out in front of the East Chicago bucket.
Looked like it should have went over to Wallce. I think it was on top of the backboard. It shouldn't stop it.
Watch Randolph. This kid can get up. He tips it, but he gets it to the wrong man all the way back down court.
Could be a goal, Tim. We'll see if he gives it to him. I think it is.
Glover went down court, laid it up off the glass, and it looks like it's going to count.
That ball is above the cylinder. 10 foul.
John Todd wants an explanation.
Can we get to see that again, Mike? wonder if our director can show us that one again.
Here we go again. Watch it
There
come
he
up.
comes, there it is. That's number 12, Brooks. He's a guard, but he got up there. Or was it Battle? Looked like Brooks to me. Either way, Glover makes it to the three-point play.
24-18. Wallce has a 6-point lead. Roosevelt back down on the other end. Randolph can't get it to drop. Look at Pollard with the rebound off the glass and good. Art Pollard cuts the Lou Wallce lead to 4. Oh, look at this, Asbury!
Nobody's gonna stop him on them. That guy's having fun out there.
Boy, Asbury had a smile on his face on that one. It's 26-20. But back on the other end, Clay Brooks responds with a bucket. Here we go again. Transition basketball, the name of the game here at Gary Westside tonight. Douglas.
Calvin Douglas is a big kid, but he's shooting from the outside. He's got 7 points on the bench.
Randolph almost loses control underneath his own bucket. Finally gets it over to Pollard. And back outside to Steed. Steed's going to take the baseline jumper. Good. 28-24.
The Wallce is a lot flashier, but Roosevelt sure gets the job done, sticking in there.
Wallce, Douglas once again, this time no go. Battle gets the rebound. Back comes Roosevelt. Brooks on the outside. Back over to Randolph. Good. All the way. Fast break, Johnny Fort. And Battle's going to pick up the foul on Fort.
That'll be Battles first. Yeah,
Here comes the
Turner.
fast break, and as you can see, number 22, Jerome Battle, tied up the All-American, Johnny Fort. So Fort will go to the line.
Giving Asbury a rest. Vincent Turner in place.
Fort makes the first. It's 29-26. Lou Wallce has the lead. Add one more to that, 30-26. 3 minutes, 35 seconds left to go first half. Steed from outside, no way, air ball. Out of bounds, it's gonna go back to Wallce.
That looks like one of my shots when we were warming up before the game.
And let's just not limit it to just before the game.
Oh no. Brooks stripped him of the ball. Glover was going up for a shot. Brooks stripped him real pretty, but he stepped on the end line when he was ready to take off.
Wallce brings it into Fort, and we're going to get a travel on Fort as he slips right at the free throw line, and Steed is hurt.
I didn't see what happened.
Let's take a look back. Watch Brian Asbury with the dunk just about a minute ago. Asbury will go up. Watch the smile on his face after he gets this one. He'll go right up inside. Boom. The thumbs up sign for Asbury.
Sneed's really in pain. I didn't see what happened. All I saw was Fort fall. Sneed fell behind him. I don't know what happened.
Well, let's not get into too specific of details, but
hit him in the stomach?
A little lower. And he was in pain. He went down immediately, and they're going to try to stand him up. Obviously, the wind has been knocked out of Travis Sneed.
Maybe when Fort fell, he kicked him or something.
Can always tell when you have those kind of injuries because you get a crowd around you.
Those things hurt so bad you gotta laugh almost. You get a painful smile on your face.
No matter what sport you play, you come across at least one or two of those in your lifetime. Back into the game then will be Hiram Edwards for ECR, as Sneed will take a well-deserved breather. Back to play, 3 minutes, 15 seconds left to go, 30-26. Lou Wallce has the lead. ECR back on the other end. In and out is the shot by Brooks. Back comes Johnny Fort for Wallce. He'll take the jumper from inside the lane. It's good. Johnny Fort, 32-26.
He's got 10 points.
Brooks had a notion, then decided against it. Randolph and Edwards playing catch. Back to Edwards, back to Brooks now. Brooks throws up the balloon shot, in and out, no good. Rebound pulled down by Glover. Here he comes back down court. He'll take it from outside, it's good.
It's his spot.
34-26, the Hornets have the lead. Battle inside, can't find the range. Rebound pulled in by Douglas. Could take the biggest lead of the ball game with a bucket here. Frank.
Battle pushed off. Before Frank got the ball, during the pass coming in, Battle gave him a little shove. So Tellus will be at the line for one of the bonus.
And we've got a timeout. East Chicago Roosevelt and John Todd are going to talk things over. And with 2 minutes, 8 seconds left to go in the first quarter of play, it's Gary Lou Wallce 34, East Chicago Roosevelt 26. We'll be back with the second quarter right after this. Tellus Frank is at the free throw line for Gary Lou Wallce. He hits the first. Look at that field goal percentage, 53.8.
And 12 boards a game.
At 6'9", he's got to be one of the tallest forwards in the state. ECR back on the offense. The jumper by Pollard is short. Rebound pulled down by Pollard himself. He gets it back again. The jumper from inside the lane is good. Art Pollard. It's 35-28, a minute 35 left to go, second quarter. Inside to Frank, turnaround jumper, no good. Rebound is finally pulled in by number 12, Brooks. He comes all the way down court, pull up, good. And the Wallce lead is cut to 5. We're gonna get a foul inside somewhere.
Clay Brooks. That's what I give it to. And every time Wallce opens up a big lead, they let it slip away.
$35-30 is the score now. As Brian Asbury nails down the first one. Look at this guy at the line, 87.1. He leads Wallce in free throws, percentage-wise, but he misses the second, but Wallce gets the rebound right back.
See that? He had 11 rebounds a game, too, so between him and Frank, you're talking 23 boards a game.
Look at Frank, the biggest man on the court. Look at him dribble that basketball. It looks like Wallce, I was going to say go for the last shot, but no siree. Johnny, or number 44, Brian Asbury says no way. It's 38-30, Lew Wallce. 38 seconds left to go, first half.
They should go for one shot to be sure they're not down by 10 going into the half, but they're not.
But Hiram Edwards, obviously if John Todd gave his troops the same words that you just gave us, Edwards didn't listen. It looks like Wallce will now go for the last shot. 10 seconds left. Johnny Fort. Ball's going to go out of bounds, and it's going to come back to Wallce.
I couldn't see what happened through the maze of players, so I'll keep my mouth shut for once.
5 seconds remain in the first half. Wallce leads 38-32.
I don't know why they're taking Ford out.
Franks will trigger it in. Way outside, Douglas. Can't put it in, couple of rebounds, and we're gonna get a foul underneath. Kelvin Douglas
Well,
picks up the foul.
He took a stupid shot and then he made a stupid foul.
Number 45.
Because no time remains on the clock in the first half.
He had a lot of time. He took a 40-footer.
Number 20, Richard Randolph, could cut the lead to just 4. He at least cuts it to 3, or at least cuts it to 5, that is. I'm going the wrong way. And Richard Randolph does it, hitting both free throws with no time left on the clock in the first half. And after one half of play, the Gary Lew Wallce Hornets 38, East Chicago Roosevelt Rough Riders 34. We'll be back with the first half stats, plus a look at last night's gymnastic regionals from Valparaiso. All that and more coming up next. This is U.S. Cable Channel 3, the Gary Basketball Regionals from Gary Westside. We'll be back right after this. After one half of play here at Gary Westside, Gary Lew Wallce leads East Chicago Roosevelt by a score of 38-34. Taking a look at a couple of quick stats from the first half. Wallce is led by Glover with 11 points, and of course, the All-American Johnny Fort has 10 points. Randolph leads East Chicago Roosevelt with 14, and Pollard added 6 in that first half of play, which has seen, as I said, Gary Lew Wallce jump out to a 38-34 lead. Now last night over at Valparaiso, we had the extreme honor of checking out, if you want to call it that, the girls gymnastic regionals, and I don't think you could ever find such an impressive sport. I mean, obviously basketball, a real team sport, but so is gymnastics in a way. But you never will see a more fluid and more beautiful sport, I don't think, on the high school level. And we were there last night, got to take a look at the girls gymnastic regionals, and some of the footage we brought back, we thought it was maybe, if you want to call it that, too beautiful just to do a regular voiceover on. So we added a little music, and what we came up with was James Ingram adding the music, and what we have called. That was some of the action last night over at Valparaiso, the girls gymnastic regionals. A couple of notes to that: the Maryville Pirates will be Northwest Indiana's representative at the state gymnastic meet next weekend at Perry Meridian High School in Indianapolis. And the all-around optional winner was a young lady from Highland by the name of Michelle Sensai, and along with a bunch of others from Northwest Indiana, they'll be representing us next weekend at the girls gymnastic state championship at Perry Meridian. Rick, we got some first half stats, right?
You got all flustered watching that, didn't you? Okay, looking at the shooting wise, first half, Wallce 15 out of 24, that's about 63%. Roosevelt, meanwhile, was 16 out of 32, it's of course a straight 50%. Wallce really, with that 63% shooting very well. That's got to be the difference right now, is the free throws. Wallce has hit 8 out of 12, while Roosevelt only gone to the line 6 times. Even worse than that, they've only hit the points twice. rebounding. Wallce with an impressive 20-11 edge. We mentioned Frank and Asbury averaging 23 rebounds a game between them. So you know Wallce is going to get the boards. Turnovers not too bad either way. Both teams playing a pretty flawless game. Wallce with 5 and Roosevelt with 2.
And as we said, the score after one half of play, Gary Lou Wallce leads 38-34 over the East Chicago Roosevelt Rough Riders. And as we said, a packed house here tonight. I don't think we could get any more people here in the Gary Westside Gym. And this is the Gary Basketball Regional Championship from the Gary Westside Gym in Gary, Indiana, brought to you by Cable 3 Sports and the Bargain Finder, Free Movers, North American Van Lines, and Captain D's. And we'll be back with the second half of play right after this. Second half of play has already been started, 38-34. Wallce has the lead on the ball. Frank Turner on jumper inside the lane is good.
Well, they got that size advantage. They didn't take advantage of it a whole lot in the first half, but maybe Earl Smith told them, let's get it with it. Start feeding the big guys.
Battle has it in the lane. One fake, goes back up but gets hacked by Asbury.
Number 2 on Brian, first in this half for Wallce.
40-34, Lou Wallce with the lead. Jerome Battle is at the line. Battle misses the first. Battle goes inside, as you can see, and he'll get hacked in there right by Asbury, gets him on the wrist. And Battle makes the second. It's 40-35. Lou Wallce with the lead, with the basketball. Johnny Fort off the back edge of the rim and out. Rebound by Edwards. He'll bring it up himself. Go right up the lane, he tries to, gets caught up underneath. Off the back edge of the rim and out. Randolph couldn't find the range. Back on the other end, fast break. Number 20, Troy Douglas. Douglas, the man that gave Lou Wallce life in that semifinal game against Maryville with a last second shot that won it. Drives all the way down court with the layup that last time. Back comes Hiram Edwards. And Edwards makes it 42-37. Rapid fire shooting here as Glover misses. The rebound is pulled down by Randolph. Pollard up the lane, one pump, no good. Rebound is knocked away. Here come Wallce, 3-on-1 break. Johnny Fort. We're gonna get the travel.
He walked, he can get a tee, he did. He hung on the rim, he got a technical. I thought he was gonna. The ref finally gave it to him.
Got a travel, got a technical foul, grabbing a rim.
We're gonna get a technical foul, as he said, against Johnny Fort. Johnny Fort traveled before he went up with the slam. After that, he missed the slam and then hung on the rim to boot. And that's why he got the technical. Watch him come right back up.
See him hanging on it? He just grabbed a hold of it.
Randolph converts on the technical. It's 42-38. Roosevelt could cut the lead to 2.
It's not an All-American play, to say the least.
Especially in a game like this. Battle inside working on Frank. Back outside to Edwards. No good. Rebound is tipped away by Randolph. It's going to go out of bounds. We might even be, no, it goes out of bounds. I thought maybe we might pick up a foul there.
All right, let's hold him now. Let's hold him this time.
Glover brings the ball up court for Wallce. Fort. Over to Glover and back to Fort, inside to Frank.
Jerome Battle.
Frank getting pushed from behind by Battle. Now
John Todd didn't really like that one.
Watch Battle underneath. He'll be doing a little pushing against Frank right underneath the bucket. See him pushing with the body there. There it is. A little bit too much more bumping.
In the meantime, Johnny Fort just missed about a 15-foot jumper.
ECR on the prowl. Coops. Or make that Brooks. Clay Brooks. Cuts the lead to just 2. It's 42-40. Johnny Ford inside to Frank. Turnaround jumper. Baseline is good. Back on the other end. Pollard. Good. It's 44-42. Johnny Fort. Glover can't find the range. Rebound is yanked down by Randolph. Here comes Edwards. Inside pass to Battle, who lays it in. Jerome Battle ties the game at 44-all. With 4 minutes, 30 seconds left to go in the third quarter. We've got a tie ball game at Gary Westside. Turnaround jumper, Asbury, air ball. Fight for the loose ball. Franks comes up with it, no good. Rebound tipped up, no good. Rebound finally pulled down by Brooks. He'll take it all the way. Can't hit it. We got a foul underneath.
Richard Randolph picked that one up. We got a timeout.
A timeout on the court. 4 minutes, 12 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Tie game, 44 apiece.
Listen up.
And as we said, we were expecting maybe either a blowout is what maybe you thought we were going to end up with, Rick, or a game that could go right down to the wire. And right now, obviously, we're back to where we started with a 44-all tie.
That's true, but I might be right in the end anyway.
Got a lot of basketball left is what you're saying, right?
Right.
John Todd with his East Chicago Roosevelt Rough Riders. Todd has been at ECR for 2 years, and both years he's been at ECR, he's come up with a sectional winner. And for the second straight year, they're in the regional finale. Last year, of course, they lost to Gary Roosevelt, who then went down to become runner-up in the state against Plymouth. Lou Wallce with the ball, inside pass, the jumper from inside the lane, number 20, Troy Douglas. Gives Lou Wallce a 2-point lead, 46-44. Edwards and Brooks playing catch, finally from way outside. It's Pollard who misses. Battle gets the rebound. He gets the bucket and the foul. Jerome Battle playing tough underneath. He's in there playing against a bunch of trees. Battle will get the ball underneath on the rebound. A nice pass, and then he puts it up and he gets fouled from behind.
Give that foul to Johnny Fort. It's only his first.
So Battle's at the line, could make it a three-pointer. He does. The Rough Riders have a 47-46 lead. Johnny Fort over to Glover. Back to Fort, tries to get inside to Frank. He does. Frank has trouble, and the pass is stolen away by number 12, Clay Brooks. Brooks brings it right back up court to Pollard, inside to Battle. Battle can't find the range. And we're going to get a foul against Brooks underneath.
Fouls on blue, number 12.
2:59 left to go, third quarter. 47-46. ECR has the lead. Full court pressure being put on by Roosevelt now as Wallce tries to inbounds the ball. They finally get it inside and back to Glover. Douglas, he's gonna pop. It's short, rebound knocked away, gonna go to, back to Wallce.
Good call. Hiram Edwards went after the rebound and knocked it out of bounds. Calvin Douglas isn't too shy from the outside, is he?
For such a big man, he'll pop those 25-footers. He was short with that one, but we saw him in the first half hit a couple from way, way outside. Wallce, Frank, he's short, but underneath Douglas had the rebound. He missed the bunny, and we got a jump ball. Art Pollard will be jumping against Dwayne Coops for Wallce.
Wallce gone ice cold. They're only 4 out of 13 this quarter from the field.
And they trail by a point. Rebound is got by Asbury, over to Douglas. Douglas tries to put it up, and he gets hacked. Calvin Douglas will go to the line shooting a couple.
25, got 2.
The foul goes against Art Pollard. It's his second. Douglas dribbles the first one in. Watch it again underneath on that foul. Douglas will get it. Pollard will give Douglas a little hello from behind right there with the body. The second free throw by Douglas is no good. And we've got a tie ball game at 47, and it looks as if Clay Brooks has got a muscle cramp.
Earl Smith can't believe they kept the play going, really.
But now, if you look around, there is not an open seat available here at the Westside Gym.
And there's a bunch of people standing at each end of the gym, too, trying to get a peek over everybody's head.
I thought you were going to be a wise guy and tell me you found an open seat.
Not me.
Roosevelt looks like they're going to sit on it for a little while, as Randolph and Pollard are playing catch out on the point. They get it over to Sneed and back to Randolph again, and they just keep moving it around, and suddenly we've got a different looking Roosevelt basketball team. We haven't seen this very often tonight. A minute 43 left to go, third quarter. Tie ball game at 47.
Oh, Wallce saw much the same kind of this kind of offense this morning against Maryville. In their quickness, they made a lot of steals out of it. And when Maryville did get a break at the bucket, their size, Wallce's size would either intimidate them, block the shot, or something. But we'll see how it works for Roosevelt. There's off the foot.
Fort steals it away. He's going to go all the way with it. He lays it up and in. So Fort gives Lou Wallce a 2-point lead. Alley-oop to Battle underneath. He lays it in. He goes on the opposite end. Battle had the ball with the easy layup on the right side, but he saw, I believe it was Frank towering above him, so he faked once and put it up on the left side. We're tied at 49. And now Lou Wallce looks a little more complacent, and let's look it over. Look at Frank, 6'9". He can dribble the basketball. I won't say exactly like a guard, but pretty darn close. Wallce has got their little men posting up underneath the bucket. They've got their big man outside. Asbury's one of their big men, but he's way off into the left corner.
Here they go.
Now Fort's gonna take it up. Jumper, no good. Rebound is pulled down by Steed. Fast break to Pollard, he pulls up, no good. Rebound is by Randolph, and that's gonna end the third quarter of play. After 3 quarters, we've got a tie ball game, 49 apiece. Gary Lou Wallce 49, East Chicago Roosevelt 49. This is the Gary Regional Basketball Championship on US Cable Channel 3. We'll be back with the fourth quarter right after this. Just 8 more minutes of basketball remain for one of these teams tonight. That is, of course, unless we go into OT. Right now, 49 all. East Chicago Roosevelt and Gary Lou Wallce going at it. And this whole gym comes to their feet. 3 quarters of play, and everybody's clapping.
Kind of a miserable shooting quarter in that third quarter for the Hornets. They only went 5 out of 15 from the field.
Lou Wallce coach Earl Smith. Rough Rider coach John Todd. Bumping heads here. Roosevelt comes up with the steal there, and they're going to set it up on their end of the court. Randolph can't find the range. Fast break to Fort. Fort gets it tapped away. They're going to call it clean. And it goes out of bounds to East Chicago.
Well, they call it a clean slap away and right off Johnny Fort's knee.
They get it inside the battle. He fakes twice. Rebound. Beautiful job. Oh, brother, number 14, Hiram Edwards, went high for that rebound, and he's just a guard, and he's in there playing among those trees.
Well, he's the guy that had goaltending earlier, too.
Franks. Tellis Frank on the other end ties it again at 51. Inside the battle. Passes it back outside. The jumper, good. Edwards again. And it's 53-51. Glover with the basketball. Gets it inside to Asbury. Asbury can't find it. Being tipped around. Finally a rebound by Randolph, but we're going to get a foul underneath.
They caught Asbury over the back. It's his third.
We out of bounds?
So Roosevelt's got a
Hey,
shot
Jack.
at
Are we out of bounds?
getting I don't know, would it be their biggest lead of the ball game at 4? Has to be close. Number 12, Clay Brooks, bringing the ball up court, passing it to Edwards. Inside the Battle again. Battle goes up strong, and we got a foul underneath. Will it be against Ford or Asbury?
Johnny Fort picks up his second.
Underneath again. You can see Fort slapping Battle on the wrist as he went up with it. It's a 3-point lead for the Rough Riders, 54-51. Can't connect on the second. It's a 3-point lead for ECR. Glover at the top of the key over to Fort, all the way over to Frank. Frank sent that one through with a little bit of authority. 54-53, the jumper from outside by Pollard, no good. Rebound, Randolph. 56-53, the Rough Riders. 5 minutes, 50 seconds left to go, timeout. Earl Smith calls timeout to talk things over. Boy, if we can get a look at the big man, Tellis Frank, underneath. You can see dunk written all over his face when he got his hands on this one.
Oh, he almost put this one through the floor, not just through the rim. He was way above it.
Boy, how many games did we go this year without a single dunk? Tonight, what do we got, 3?
That's right, 3.
Turn and face it. See what we can do. You can take it in. You may get some, may not. And see if you can't get it. Say, don't do a good job. Keep running. All right? Okay. All right, let's go. Don't come over too soon.
So you can hear the thinking of John Todd. His club has the lead by 3 points. Wallce will trigger the ball from about mid-court. Fort gets it into Glover. Glover looking for somebody. Finally, Coops is there. Fort all the way the other side to Asbury. And Asbury had the easy bucket.
Oh, I think we got away with one there.
Looked like backcourt violation there against Roosevelt, but they didn't call it. As Edwards was able to get it across the timeline quickly enough. Randolph back to Brooks. Brooks at the top of the key. He's going to go up the lane. He lays it off the glass, and it's good. He also gets the foul.
I think he called it on Coops. It's number 1 on Coops. Here's a look at it. Nice fake there. He's going to reach in right there.
Clay Brooks showed a lot of concentration on that one as he started driving up the left side of the lane. How he got that ball to drop, I don't know. He had guys all over him. It's 58-55. But he can't get it to drop. So it remains 58-55. 4 minutes, 55 seconds remaining in this ball game. And it's stolen away by Brooks. Brooks the pass to the other side to Edwards. He can't hit it. Pollard puts it back up and good. Art Pollard. And East Chicago Roosevelt has their biggest lead of the ball game at 5, 60-55. Frank at the free throw line drives up the lane and good. Back on the other end. Oh, Pollard drove up the left baseline, tried to lay it off the glass. And who was it that got the block? Was it Frank?
No,
Seems goaltending.
it was Asbury.
Asbury went high for the block, but the goaltending was called. With 4 minutes and 14 seconds left to go in this ball game, East Chicago Roosevelt has jumped out to a 62-57. We'll be back with the remainder of this basketball game right after this. This is U.S. Cable Channel 3 and the Gary Regional Basketball Championship. minutes and 14 seconds remain in this ball game. 57 is the tally for Gary Lou Wallce, but the Rough Riders of East Chicago Roosevelt tally 62 at this point. They have the lead at 5 points. They inbounds it to Frank. Fast break to Fort. And Fort tried to drive up the lane. He got tied up by Randolph, but Randolph picks up the foul.
Both teams in the bonus the rest of the way.
Number 34, Johnny Fort, the All-American headed for the University of Iowa, connects on number 1. 62-58. Frank gets the rebound, but he stepped on the inbounds line. Basket's not going to count. As Fort missed the second free throw. So it's 62-58, a 4-point lead for the Rough Riders. Clay Brooks over to Edwards. Edwards from the free throw line, good! (64-58) East Chicago Roosevelt. Tell us Frank at the top of the key to Johnny Fort. Inside to Frank, the turnaround jumper is no good. Rebound underneath, loose ball, who's gonna get it? It's gonna be a jump ball. Number 20, Troy Douglas, will jump for Gary Lou Wallce against, I believe, number 14, Hiram Edwards for ECR, right in front of the Lou Wallce bucket. And the tip is pulled in by Randolph, over to Pollard. Pollard brings it across into Rough Rider territory. Edwards loses control. Another jump ball, this time it'll be in front of the Chicago bucket. 3:13 remaining.
Oh, we've seen Edwards jump real high twice tonight.
Tipped over near the scorer's table, saved by Fort, but Pollard gets it. He bangs it in. 66-58. Frank, the turnaround jumper. Asbury tries to ram it home, but he's going to get the foul going over the back. Once again, Clay Brooks is down on the court. He's got muscle cramps once again.
I kind of wish that bucket follow-up would have went. That would have been exciting.
That would have been some kind of a slam, but to get there, Asbury went over the back of somebody on East Chicago.
Pay attention, damn it.
Looks like we had another cramp over there. Clay Brooks' legs again.
66-58. East Chicago Roosevelt has their biggest lead of the game with 2 minutes and 57 seconds remaining. Well, would you say that it's safe to say that your blowout is not going to hold true?
I'd say it's safe to say that I was lucky when I picked Munster last week to get to the finals, and now I picked them to win, and Maryville beat them, and now I'm picking Wallce to blow them out, and I think my jinx is back on teams.
Obviously, nobody's out of this ball game yet, but Jerome Battle could increase the East Chicago lead to 10 with a bucket here with a couple of free throws.
I should have known better when our statistician Phil said Wallce was going to win by 15. I should have went the other way. Battle misses the first end of the 1-and-1.
Frank with the rebound, up court. From way outside, Glover. Full court pressure. Sneed breaks it. And Roosevelt is going to play with it a little bit. 2.5 minutes remaining.
They're going to foul. Battle's the guy to foul. He's missed a few tonight.
Number 4. Oh, we got a foul there.
Oh,
No call.
Oh, he got it.
We do get it.
It's a slow whistle.
No, it's going to go the other way, though. It wasn't on the shot.
They missed the initiative foul, and in frustration, Hiram Edwards committed a foul himself because he knows he was had to.
Hiram Edwards went up with the jumper from the left baseline from about 10 feet out. And I think everybody in this gym, except for the referees, knew he was fouled. Watch it again. He'll go up. Hard to tell from that angle, but there was some skin contact on the arm.
Yeah, he definitely got him. But Calvin Douglas gets a chance. Cut it to 4 here.
2:25 left to go.
That's so big you hit the front end of those one-on-ones because you get another shot at him.
66-61. Douglas could cut the lead to 4. He does. Full court pressure by Lew Wallce. And it's knocked away. Picked up finally by Sneed. Sneed over to Pollard. He throws up the right-hander, but it's no good. We got a foul underneath.
Must have been on Douglas. Nope, 14.
The full court pressure by Lew Wallce almost paid off there.
Well, they did it a lot. They did it earlier in the Maryville game this morning. They put a lot of pressure on him. Got a lot of turnovers and caused a lot of errors. Still plenty of time at 2:21.
This will probably be the longest 2 minutes, 21 seconds in a lot of these basketball players' careers.
Sneed's at the line for the first time tonight. He's got 2 points.
Travis Sneed. Earl Smith having a discussion with one of the referees, maybe just for the sole purpose of giving Sneed some extra time to think about it without calling a timeout.
I mentioned earlier, once they get in a situation in Maryville where Wallce wants to foul Jerome Battle, he's only 3 out of 10 at the line tonight.
Sneed can't connect. Wallce could cut the lead to 2. The jumper off the front edge of the rim and out. Rebounds pulled in by Pollard. Renee Glover couldn't hit the jumper from the baseline. And it's stolen away by Fort. Fast break to Frank. Frank lays it in.
Real heads-up play by Frank. He could have slammed it, but he was smart and laid it in so he'd be sure not to get a technical.
66-64. A minute 52 left. We've got a timeout. East Chicago Roosevelt Rough Riders. Watch the steal coming up here. Knocked away first by Fort. Finally picked up by Glover. He gets it to Frank, who just lays it in nicely off the glass. At this point in the ball game, you don't want a technical foul.
Roosevelt, if they don't hold on, can look back on their foul shooting. They've had 5 one-on-ones already, 5 one-on-one opportunities tonight, and have only connected on the front end of them once. It's getting loud in here.
Head coach Earl Smith is getting a little loud with his Hornets on that puddle too. I'm telling you, this place is rocking. I guess this is what they mean by Hoosier hysteria. I think we've gained about an extra couple of hundred of spectators since the like halftime of this basketball game. It's wall-to-wall people. A minute 50 left to go. Roosevelt with the ball and a 2-point lead. They get it inbounds to Edwards. Edwards over to Pollard, back over on the other end to Randolph. Brooks and Randolph playing catch. Randolph almost stolen away by Glover. And we got a foul as number 12, Clay Brooks, went up with the shot.
It's called on Johnny Fort. I think Fort thought the other ref should have made the call because it wasn't his call, the one that made the foul, but it stands. There it is. You get the foul right there, and the ref on the left side of the court over here instead of the near court called it.
Of course, it's always hard to tell, but that looked fairly clean to me, but from that angle, it was tough to tell. Obviously, Lou Wallce and Johnny Fort thought it was clean.
Clay Brooks. He's 0 for 2 tonight at the line. He's got 10 points.
John Todd just stood up, put his hands on his head, and asked why. His team can't hit the free throws.
1 out of 6 this quarter at the line.
Brooks finally connects to give Roosevelt a 3-point lead. A minute and a half left to go.
Got odd numbers, so Wallce has to have the ball twice in their hands.
Douglas, no good. Back onto Fort. Johnny's gonna take it. Good. That's what you've got an All-American for.
Hey, you gotta go to him, not Glover, or not Douglas in that situation. Gotta go to the big guys underneath or else Fort.
A minute on the clock.
Johnny just got his fourth. Now that could be important if we go into overtime because he only gets 5 fouls going into overtime, so he has 4 now.
Number 20, Richard Randolph, will go to the line. Once again, Roosevelt misses a free throw. Wallce can go up by a point with a bucket. 55 seconds left to go. Earl Smith screaming instructions to his team. He wants a timeout.
One important thing, I didn't make a mistake. Ford only has 3 fouls, not 4. That's not the big thing right now.
Well, there's only 3 things you've got to know right now. East Chicago Roosevelt has 67 points. There's all 3 of them right there.
We gotta penetrate the ball. All right? Now, we got 50-something seconds, 30, whatever it is. 50 seconds. They make a mistake. We gotta be on it. All right? Now, they go ahead. Don't worry about it. And don't panic. The worst thing we can do is panic. We play tough defense. Look for a mistake.
Don't make a mistake.
Don't let him get easy bucket down.
Don't get any fouls. Everybody help out, man. Everybody help out, man.
Coach Earl Smith telling his club 2 things. Boys, let's start hitting our free throws. And the other, don't give them an easy bucket. I guess instructions don't get much easier than that. As I was saying, 3 things to know. Roosevelt, 67. Lou Wallce, 66. And 45 seconds now on the clock.
Yeah, that's what they got to do, go to the big guy.
And it gets tapped away by Pollard.
Foul.
It's going to go over to Roosevelt.
Art Pollard, big play.
Back come the Rough Riders. 30 seconds left. And Lou Wallce decides to send Edwards to the free throw line.
Well, he hasn't been there yet. He has 10 points on the night. Now he's got 4. That was Johnny's 4.
We'll have to see if Hiram Edwards has to see if he's taking John Todd's instructions well. He misses, but the rebound comes
out
up
of
to
the game.
Randolph, and that's it for Fort. The rebound came out long right, and it was pulled down immediately by Randolph. And Fort got him from behind. He reached around. So Fort sits down with 5 fouls, and that'll do it for him on the evening.
He's got 15 points against Upland.
He only scored about 8 points this afternoon, too. Not quite up to his average.
Oh yeah, big load off Randolph's shoulder making that one.
That could have been the biggest free throw of the night right there. You get that first one in, the second
This
one.
is the biggest one, 3-point lead.
No good, 68-66. Wallce could tie it here. Glover.
Gotta go to Frank.
They give it to Frank at the top of the key. 14 seconds, Frank puts it in. 9 seconds left. And we've got a timeout.
Down here.
East
We got an
Chicago
injury down
Roosevelt
here in blue.
and
Gotta
number
put
12,
1 second back up there, okay?
Another cramp, it's that same
Clay
cramp.
Brooks. They're readjusting the clock here. I believe they're going to put 9 seconds on the clock.
There was 9, they're gonna move it to 10. Boy, old Brooks, every time he jumps, that calf just tightens up.
A tie ball game at 68. Okay, watch the bottom right of your screen here, and you'll see Brooks as he'll go up. There he is, number 12. Watch him go sky high, and he just came down. He really came down funny on that leg.
When you jump up like that, and the muscle just tightens up, and it comes down, and it just hurts like the dickens.
10 seconds remain on the clock. 68-68 is the score. Lou Wallce and East Chicago Roosevelt tied up in one heck of a ball game. I don't know if there's ever been 3 successive basketball games at a regional championship like this before. The game against Maryville and Lou Wallce goes down to a last-second shot that was put in by Douglas to win it for Lou Wallce. The Hammond High East Chicago Roosevelt game goes into overtime before Roosevelt pulls it out by 1 point. Right now we've got 10 seconds left. 68-68 is the score. And Clay Brooks, they are working on his leg. As we said before, he's just really had some cramping problems. They're going to help him off the court, so obviously he won't be back into the game. Well, like we said, there was an odd point in there for a while, but now we could very well go to overtime. East Chicago Roosevelt will inbounds the ball underneath their own bucket. Full court pressure put on by one man or a couple of men by Lou Wallce.
They got the big guy, Frank. They're telling Smith to stay off the court.
Edwards will trigger it in for Roosevelt.
Put the tallest man. It looks like Frank's about 13 inches taller than Edwards.
Here we go. 9 seconds left. They get it over. It's stolen away. Asbury. There's a foul.
And it's a foul. It's on Sneed. Asbury will be at the line.
events, East Chicago Roosevelt was in the driver's seat. They had it. Not saying that they would have made that bucket, but we would have at least gone to overtime. You either make a bucket or you don't.
Same situation with Maryville this afternoon. They'd have held on the ball. Casey would have shot a couple seconds later. The worst they could have had was overtime. Here it is. It's a good play because it stopped the dunk at least. Big play, big bucket.
Asbury hits the free throw. 69-68. Gary Lou Wallce has the lead. Everybody's on their feet.
This will sure tie if he makes this one.
He does. 5 seconds left. Here comes Roosevelt. They get it to Pollard. He puts it up. No good. Rebound. No good. That's it. That's it. Gary Lou Wallce wins the Gary Regional Championship. It's pandemonium in Gary. Shot, the final last chances by East Chicago Roosevelt, it just wouldn't drop. That's all there is to it. The ball wouldn't fall in the hole. And I guess this is all part of Hoosier hysteria. We've got cheerleaders fainting on the court. We've got people being carried off. We've got a lot of happy Hornets. Well, I hope she's okay. She's nodding her head saying she is, but what a basketball game. I guess the hero of the game, Brian Asbury, who hits the free throws down the stretch with 5 seconds on the clock to give Gary Lou Wallce a 70-68 lead. And Art Pollard's shot would just not drop. Here are those winning free throws. Asbury, calm, cool, collective, he put them right in. Gary Lou Wallce was last in the Gary Regional Championship game back in 1980 when they were knocked off by Andrean 64-48. And I believe that is only their, other than that, that is it for Gary Lou Wallce. They have not been to the championship game before, so this is the first championship for Gary Lou Wallce at the Gary Regionals. The next stop on the road to the state finals for Gary Lou Wallce will, of course, be West Lafayette, Purdue University for the semi-state. There's Brian Asbury, the hero as far as the Hornets are concerned. They always tell you they don't want any fans on the court after the game, but that's got to be the biggest impossibility in the world. Gary Lou Wallce, 1983 Gary Regional champs. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Yeah. Come on, baby. 70-68 the final score. As I said once again, Rick Harrigan is on the floor trying to search for a couple of our post-game interviews. but that may be an era possibility also. And as Rick searches for head coach Earl Smith and the Gary Lou Wallce Hornets, let's take a break. Once again, the Gary Lou Wallce Hornets win the Gary Regional Championship 70-68 over East Chicago Roosevelt. We'll be back right after this. We're back at Gary Westside. Rick Harrigan has a very happy Brian Asbury down on courtside. Rick?
Tell me what you're thinking going to the line in the last second.
Well, first, all I was praying the Lord the whole time. I got a good free throw percentage of shooting. And I just shot the ball. I wasn't going to think about it. I said either going or it's going to go.
What was the strategy coming in after the timeout, the last 5 seconds?
Well, the strategy was Coach Smith told us to push the ball to one side. It was Pollard, and I think it was Ballard or somebody. He was back this way, and they had one man up. And so I faked like I wasn't going, and I went. It was a chance. Could have got burned either way.
Well, some of them slams seems to fire up the team a little bit, and those big rebounds too.
No, I just do it. I like doing it. Gets the crowd up.
Get a big smile on your face.
Yeah.
All right, ready for next week.
Huh?
What's gonna happen next week?
Next week, it's the first time ever Wallce went this far, and I'm not going this far and lose. I got to bring it home.
All right, thanks a lot. Congratulations. All right, we'll go back to Chris now.
Brian Asbury down on the court side, and he's a very, very happy young man. He hit the winning free throws down the stretch to give Gary Lou Wallce that 2-point victory over the East Chicago Roosevelt Rough Riders. As we said, you couldn't ask for a better basketball game than what we had tonight. Just fantastic, up and down, both sides of the court played extremely well by both teams. This afternoon, one game goes down to the final shot of the ball game in the Maryville Gary Lou Wallce basketball game. In the second game this afternoon, we had another basketball game that went into overtime, was finally won by 1 point by East Chicago Roosevelt over Hammond High. And then what do we end up with tonight? Another fantastic basketball game going right down to the wire and finally won by Gary Lou Wallce. As we said, they have never gone this far before. They have never won a Gary championship or Gary Regional Championship in their history. They have been to the championship game once before, but they were knocked off by Andran. That was a couple of years ago. So they are not.
That's right.
They are not there. They did not lose, that is, as they did to Andran, as they did a couple of years ago. This year, they're back on top, and the Gary Lou Wallce Hornets are extremely happy about that. The final score, 70-68. Gary Lou Wallce defeats East Chicago Roosevelt.
Always remember that. L-Dub. I got a group.
And it's pandemonium here in Gary. We've got a lot of the Gary Lou Wallce fanatics behind me here. They seem to be very happy.
They're gonna take it. Always remember.
The final score once again from the Gary Regional Championship. The number 6 team in the state, Gary Lou Wallce, the favorite, defeats number 15 East Chicago Roosevelt 70-68. Brian Asbury comes up with the winning basket, with the winning buckets at the end. So for Rick Harrigan and the Cable 3 Sports crew, this is Chris Epp saying thanks for joining us. We would like to also thank Donald Leake, the director of the Gary Regional Championship, the folks here at Gary Westside for providing everything that they have for us. Congratulations to both East Chicago Roosevelt and Gary Lou Wallce. Lou Wallce will represent Northwest Indiana at the Lafayette Semi-State next weekend. Good luck to the Lou Wallce Hornets. And of course, we'd also like to thank our sponsors on tonight's telecast, the Bargain Finder, Free Movers North American Van Lines, and Captain D's. And I would also like to personally thank all of our boys in the truck. Thanks for making us look so good. I really appreciate it, gentlemen. Once again, the final score, Gary Lou Wallce 70, East Chicago Roosevelt 68. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye, everybody.